Yo, what's good? We have another reaction video for today. This one is called Are You a Dream of the Universe by Kurt Zagzag in a nutshell. I know I said that John wrong, but hey, drop a like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop a like for him. So you could drop a like on this video to support your boy, subscribe if you're new. I will answer this question that I would say this reality technically is like a collective dream and we're all parts of the dream. We are all individual dreamers with the side of this dream, and I talk a lot about the dream of reality on my Patreon. You can go to my Patreon and look up dream video, like just type in dream, and you'll probably see different videos about the universal dream. I talk about how this quote unquote dream is structured to with the 12 planes of existence, the 12 layers of the dream essentially. But it's not a promotional video. I just want to say that real quick that I do have a good concept of the universe being a dream, but I'm curious how they're gonna say it inside this video. Let's get into it.
Absolutely everything you think about yourself and the universe
I don't
could
hear nothing at all. Is my hold up, bro? Hold up. It's probably muted. Ah, we good now. That was weird. I don't know why the thing was muted. There we go.
absolutely everything you think about yourself and the universe could be an illusion.
It is an illusion.
As far as you know, you are real and exist in a universe that was born 14 billion years ago and that gave rise to galaxies, stars, the Earth, and finally you. Except, maybe not. You may actually not exist for real, but be the dream of a dead universe. You and everything you think exists.
That's an interesting concept. I never heard it explained like that. I'm curious where this is gonna go.
Crazy as it sounds, this may be an unavoidable consequence of our best scientific theories about the universe. Okay, this is a bit much. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah,
We
please.
need to understand three concepts for this idea to make sense. 1. The arrow of time. What distinguishes the past from the future? Put a drop of red ink into a glass of water, and you see the ink spread until it fills the container, but never the opposite. Colored water where ink spontaneously concentrates and becomes a drop at the surface again.
Yeah.
Time always seems to flow in the direction in which the ink spreads. But if you take a microscope, all you will see will be a swarm of molecules colliding at random. There are no rules, no forwards and backwards.
Okay, I don't like how we said that. What? Okay.
Every individual motion that happens can occur in reverse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, hold up. Is my shit lagging, bro? Cause nah, hold up. Nigga, I'm pretty sure I don't like how we said this because you technically could reverse this if you knew how. He's trying to make time move in reverse because he's saying that, well, all you're seeing is individual particles inside the water. You know what I'm saying? So the way they're interacting, they could technically reverse themselves if you knew how to do that. Like, you know how to put a drop inside water. You know how to suck it out. Because the thing is, even if the drop gets sucked out the water, that's still moving forward in time because events are still passing inside different moments. So one event passed, you drop in the red inside the water, and then another event passes, you suck the water up. That doesn't mean that time moved backwards. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
But we perceive a sort of arrow of time that makes things happen in one direction. How does this phenomenon occur? Well, this arrow of time is not actually fundamental, but a matter of probability. When ink molecules spread to fill a glass, there are many different slots of space they can occupy, and therefore many different possibilities to combine them.
I mean,
And just
yeah.
like your chances of winning the lottery grow the more tickets you have, the probability that ink molecules will end up filling the glass is much higher than the probability that they'll concentrate in just one spot.
I mean, yeah.
So
that's
it's
how
not
ink
that
works.
the ink forming a drop again is forbidden by the laws of physics,
Of course
it's
not.
just extremely unlikely.
Duh.
To see it, you'd have to wait about 10 to the power of 100 sextillion years, a 1 followed by 100 sextillion zeros. If you had this much time to spare, eventually, by pure random chance, you'd see a red blob form again. Actually, with enough time, you could see any shape forming, like,
That's
for
dope.
example, a small, red, soggy brain.
That's pretty dope.
Okay,
I'm not gonna
let's
lie.
move on to idea 2. 2. The far future of the universe. Our universe was born 14 billion years ago in the Big Bang. It expanded and evolved to give rise to the myriads of galaxies and things. In other words, the universe is kind of a glass of water with a lot of ink doing stuff. It has an arrow of time. But the universe is not a static glass, it seems to be getting bigger at an ever-increasing speed because of dark energy. Basically, everything in it is getting more and more diluted. In about 100 trillion years, the last star will die. Then, few interesting things will happen for the next few decillions, vantillions, and googles of years. Eventually, the universe will be a dark place fully dominated by dark energy, a rapidly expanding ball of pure space almost devoid of matter. You might think that this would lead to the ultimate death of everything, but dark energy has one last surprise for you. In a universe dominated by dark energy, space expands so dramatically that it creates a cosmic horizon around you, a border beyond which nothing will ever be able to reach you, not even light. So for every practical purpose, the universe has become a glass of finite size about 36 billion light-years wide, surrounded by an impassable cosmic horizon. Such a universe glass is basically a giant black hole turned inside out. We know that due to quantum effects, all black holes emit a tiny amount of particles, a phenomenon known as Hawking radiation. And so does our inside-out black hole. In the end, this radiation will fill the universe glass with particles again. At this point, so far in the future that giving you a number has no more meaning, we've reached the true final state. The universe has now become a closed box full of particles at an extremely low but finite temperature. And since they have...
For those of you who don't get it, what he's saying is that dark energy is what causes the universe to expand. So you got the galaxy right here, galaxy right here. Dark energy moves them apart. So if dark energy keeps on moving things apart, at some point this would be so far apart that essentially, you know what I'm saying, you know, they talk about the no light reaching certain galaxies and whatever the fuck, right? Things get so spread apart that even with this galaxy will split into maybe two galaxies and they'll be so far apart. But even with them being far apart, he is pretty much saying that while being far apart, there may still be certain leaks of particles that kind of meet back inside the middle. And then that's what these are right here. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm trying to see how this deals with the dream of reality or whatnot.
Have a temperature, they undergo random motions. Or in other words, a glass filled with water and
Hold up, bro. Alright.
ink and an infinite amount of time ahead. Things are about to become interesting again. 3. Typing monkeys and fake universes.
What?
Eternity is a long, long time. So now, even the most extremely unlikely things can happen. The fluctuating particles are bumping into each other over and over and over again, creating every combination of particles that's possible. They're like a monkey typing at random on a typewriter. Almost all of the time it types gibberish. But with enough time, eventually it will write the first acts of Hamlet. And with even more time, the complete works of Eminem. If ink in our universe glass generates any random arrangements of particles, what could they be? Well, a spontaneous fluctuation could give rise to a planet, or to a galaxy, or even to a lot of them. So maybe our universe has already ended, and all we see around us is a pop-up universe. Not a universe that evolved from a Big Bang, but one that fluctuated into existence by pure chance. And that, like the...
I see what he's saying. My shit keep acting like it's lagging, but I see what he's saying. Okay. So let's say that with the back to the dark energy shit expand into places far from each other, right? He's saying that the light particles that came in, right, that met in the middle could have formed a whole new creation that we're experiencing right now. Which is why in the beginning he said a dead universe. Like, what if what we're experiencing is not what happened after the Big Bang, but what happened after the Big Bang made several places, and those places fully expanded away from each other, and then certain leaks came inside and they formed this new shit that we're experiencing right now. And even if that was true, how does that relate to a dream? We're gonna see.
The drop of ink will only exist for a while before dissolving again.
My fault, that shit start lagging, gang. Yo, my shit about to, what, nigga? My shit need more motherfucking gigs of RAM at this point.
Will only exist for a while before dissolving again. Being random, pop-up universes could be similar to ours but with funny glitches. In some of these universes, dinosaurs are riding snails. In another, stars are made of blueberries. In another, you're wearing a funny hat. Scientists in such universes wouldn't understand those glitches, so maybe the greatest mysteries of physics are just nonsense bugs of our pop-up universe. But not all possible fluctuations of our dead universe have the same probability of occurring. Smaller fluctuations are much more probable than bigger ones. A planet is more likely than a galaxy. But you know what's even way more likely? A human brain. Are you actually just a brain? You think, therefore you exist. But what else do you
I hate that statement. I think, therefore I am. No, you are, therefore you think. That's what it actually should be. I hate that. Nigga, your thoughts should not be proof that you exist. The fact that you exist is what allows you to even think thoughts. What the fuck? I hate that statement. On top of that, when he mentioned like different universes and dinosaurs fucking riding on sleds and shit, these would be different realms and different timelines, not different universes. I break down what the universe actually is because there's a universe, multiverse, metaverse, megaverse, superverse, and a hyperverse too. Break that down on my Patreon, you know what I'm saying? But I even have some videos on YouTube about this type of shit. With how the multiverse is not different universes, it's just different timelines, different versions of this universe. You know what I'm saying? That's what the multiverse actually is: different timelines and different versions of this universe. You know, but it's still one universe because all timelines come into one. For example, the fact that you could even think about dinosaurs going on sleds shows how that timeline is also interwoven with this universe, since you could actually fucking think about it. You could literally think about any timeline in existence. And your thoughts about those timelines influence this universe right here because all timelines converge in the universe. So all these different possibilities, they already converged inside this universe. There's only one universe, you know what I'm saying? There's many different timelines, and there's also many different realms with different kinds of experience, but they all condense inside the universe. I break this down on my YouTube, and I break this down super in depth on my Patreon.
truly know? In the end, your brain is just interpreting signals from your senses and creating a world that you experience. So technically, you could be just your brain that thinks the world is real. And if we follow the logic of the Ink in the Universe class, in particular, you could be a disembodied brain that, just by chance, emerged in a dead universe with your complete set of knowledge
Yeah, but no, that's not how shit is. I'm gonna just say that right now.
and memories. This is a pretty bizarre idea, but if we do the maths, it's kind of pretty solid. Let's compare the number of brains inside bodies in a living universe with the number of naked brains in a dead universe. Let's go really big and imagine that a total of 100 quadrillion humans will live around Earth, and that the same amount of people will live around every star in the universe. If we add this together, we get about 10 to the power of 41 brains inside bodies that will exist. However, in a dead universe that has had enough time to explore all possible fluctuations and that will exist forever, the number of naked brains that would emerge is, well, infinite. So the probability that you're a floating brain is not only vastly larger than the probability that you're a real human, it's so inconceivably larger that we can't even meaningfully quantify the difference. How do you compare a number to infinity? So, are you a floating brain that exists for one moment in time, then basically forever passes, and then you exist
But here's the thing, though, right? You see, it can sound like he's cooking with that shit, but he's not. Here's the reason why. By the way, there's no hate to the guy. You know what I'm saying? The guy, I'm sure, is just exploring different possibilities that could be possible, making videos about the shit, right? But with what he just said, that would also mean that the possibility of you being a fucking dinosaur, let's do something fucking even more wild. The possibility that you're a fucking ice cream cone that has a brain and is able to perceive shit, the possibility of that inside this whole dead universe, endless bullshit, that's also infinite too. So, nigga, when you put those frame when you put that, I want to find a different word, but when you put that framework on this shit of like, the dead universe shit, you know what I'm saying, over time it could form into any possibility, whatever the fuck. When you add those frames inside the conversation, nigga, anything becomes possible. It is more probable than what the fuck we have right now because you made this new environment, you know what I'm saying? You put these different frameworks on certain things which could now make these things exist that wouldn't normally exist in our own common human understanding and whatnot. But yeah, because even to think about a dead universe in the way that he's talking about it, you need to, in order to even do that, you need to understand physics. Because he pretty much used what we know about physics to make this whole thing with dark energy expanding this shit so much that there's no more creation and shit, but the tiny leaks that had creation leak into the fucking middle part, and then they all condense and form all these possibilities. That's only possible by understanding physics and how dark energy works. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, right? You need to have the universe with its laws in order to even think about a universe without its common laws. So the fact that, and I'm saying that because if we're inside of a dead universe and stuff like that, we couldn't have even thought about an actual universe that has dark energy separating shit inside the universe. You see what I'm trying to say? That might be confusing for some of y'all, but long story short, my nigga, the answer is that this dead universe shit, while it's an amazing thought, while it's an amazing thought experiment, it's not what it actually is. This is not actually true. Because to even know about a dead universe, we have to pretty much study our known universe that isn't dead to even contemplate a dead universe in the future. You know what I'm saying? If we were already inside of a dead universe, we couldn't contemplate the fact that we have a universe that may now be dead. You know what I'm saying?
For another moment in time. Maybe not even in that order. Maybe your life happens backwards and you just don't notice.
Like what?
Maybe you've lived trillions of times already. Are you the dream of a
That's partially true. You did live several times and don't even know it usually.
dead universe? Really? Like, really? Well, probably not. First of all, there are a
Okay,
few
maybe.
loopholes. For example, dark energy could behave completely differently from what we think today and lead us to another future.
Facts.
Or maybe our dead universe will be too motionless to allow the creation of brains, even with infinite time. Or
Yeah.
maybe the universe will end
Whatever.
up dying in another way.
Yeah.
Our understanding of the cosmos doesn't have a solid enough foundation for anyone to worry if they're real or not. Loopholes aside, if you were a fluctuating brain, all the laws of physics stored in your brain would have originated at random and shouldn't bear any relation to the real world. But we just used those laws to prove that you're a floating brain.
Damn, that's what I just said. The fact that we even know the laws, right? Because like I just said, in a dead universe, the laws are not the same. But we're making a dead universe based upon the laws that we already know. That's what he's pretty much saying. Dan, I actually like how he did this video. Damn, I like how he did this shit. He probably made mad niggas think that, oh, this might be a dead universe. And then he was like, well, yeah, no, because even about a dead universe, you have to be in a living universe to even know certain laws that can make a dead universe.
So even if you believe that you are a floating brain, you'd have to admit that you have no good reason to believe that you are actually a floating brain.
Yeah.
Okay, so this hallucinatory trip might teach us something about our theories about the universe. But in the end, it's just a really weird exercise in what you can do with physics.
Yeah.
An exercise of what brains and bodies are able to think about.
Yeah.
So don't worry, you're not a dream of the dead universe. Probably.
But this universe is a dream.
At Kurzgesagt, we love discussing topics like Boltzmann brains because
All right, that's it. So long story short, reality is a dream. I explained that. I probably mentioned it in some YouTube videos, but definitely on Patreon I mentioned that shit. This is like a dream. We are just different at like. I don't like saying that we're different aspects of the universe because the universe is not like a person or a being. You know what I'm saying? Words like source, spirit, God, these things work better, and we are essentially different points of view of God, source, or spirit experiencing this collective dream. Kind of like how when you dream, everybody's a tiny aspect of you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes inside your dreams, you can have dream characters who are more aware of the dream than you are. Like you may have a nigga inside your dream, right? Teaching you some shit, but that's just you teaching yourself something. But it's a part of you that has more awareness than this party that you commonly identify with. So people may be like, well, inside your dreams, technically you're the main dreamer. And yeah, even though everybody's just like an aspect of your consciousness and stuff like that, you're like the main dude. And it's like, well, that's not fully true. You're just experiencing it from that point of view. But you can have dreams where the people inside your dream are telling you that you're inside of a dream. And I've actually experienced it where I've been inside of a lucid dream and I've had characters try to say, nigga, you're inside of a dream. How the fuck am I the main nigga who's dreaming that's super duper conscious, but there's different aspects of me saying, nigga, you're dreaming. You know what I'm saying? So right now, even though you're a part of this big giant dream, you may not be that aware. But other people, like them niggas inside the fucking mountains, them Hindu yogi niggas, they really get that you're inside of a fucking dream. But they're just different aspects of you, and they'll say, nigga, you're dreaming. You know what I'm saying? But this is a collective dream. We are different aspects of the great dreamer, so we are just having our own individual dream with this how this collective dream, and I explain that shit probably on my YouTube, but most definitely for a fact on my Patreon. All my links are down below. Like the video, subscribe to your boy if you new. I have an aspiration course down below, so much stuff down below. I have readings down below, everything's down below. Social media is down below. Go tap in with your boy. I love you. Catch my next video. Peace.